Hey guys, number one Marmaduke fan here, continuing my journey to try to read all the manga in the library. One of these days, I'll get past the A's. I know I can do it. All right, Anonymous Noise. This is one of my favorite series of the last year. I approached the end of this series, or the end of the number of volumes that I had. I wrote my library and told them I thought this was a very good series and I thought they should order more. And look at that. Every time I do that, they get a whole bunch more manga. So this is a pretty complicated shoujo romance. So I would not recommend hopping into the middle of this one. This is one where you should definitely start at volume 1 and read all your way through it. And as I got to volume 11, I was starting to wonder, how long is this going to go on? Is she going to run out of ideas? Is she just going to stretch out this love triangle forever? And it is a love triangle story. And actually, one of my favorite things about it is that the author, Ryoko Fukuyama, mentions in her author's comments that she'd done manga and she realized she had never done a love triangle manga. And so she just got the bright idea that, hey, maybe I should do a love triangle manga. And as corny as the love triangle is, she got me invested, in part because I think she adds so much to the love triangle dynamic so that it's not just the trite love triangle thing over and over and over again. She has great comedy. The personal, like kids roasting each other, making fun of each other's, personality flaws, that is consistently on point. And by the way, I tried to watch the anime for this, and the anime is incredibly abridged compared to like what's fleshed out in the manga. And the anime had pretty limited animation style. So I'm kind of like 100% on the manga train for this one, though I did like some of the songs in the anime adaptation. So the comedy was on point. And second, the relation of the arts to romance is brilliant. And what it reminds me of is Pygmalion, both the Greek myth and the George Bernard Shaw inspired by the Greek myth. So the Greek myth is Pygmalion is a Greek sculptor. He sculpts a beautiful woman. It's so beautiful. He's such a talented sculptor. He falls in love with his own work of art, and he pleads for the gods to bring the work of art to life. They do. They grant his wish, but then the statue, which has become a living woman, leaves him. The statue doesn't love him back. A tragedy. And the George Bernard Shaw play, a British linguist trains a sort of like low working class Cockney girl how to speak proper English. And it seems like it's going to be a love story because, he's very combative, he's very feisty and kind of sexist, but manly as well. And he teaches her some really valuable things, but then she becomes a lady and she doesn't need him anymore. And it's sort of like he's not able to grow up enough to keep her and make her love him back, despite all that he's given her. And it kind of ends in sort of a sad, bittersweet way. The Hollywood adaptation, of course, they have to change it so that they get together at the end and it has a happy ending. But in both of them, the point is that the artist can fall in love with a woman, not because he loves the woman, but because of the way the woman makes him feel. A woman can be like an inspiration to an artist, but that's not the same thing as love. And what's genius about Anonymous Noise is it's basically that plus Japanese pop idol rock and roll. The triangle is basically Alice, Nino Arisugawa, whose name is a pun on Alice and is kind of like the Alice in Wonderland in the group. She is in love with Momo, her childhood friend who she lost, and she has abandonment issues because she keeps making these friends and they keep leaving her. So she's been chasing after Momo, trying to she believes she has this kind of like childhood dream that if she sings beautifully enough, Momo will hear her voice and come back to her. But when she finally finds him, he's cold-hearted and doesn't care about her anymore. So she believes if she becomes a great singer, she will warm his heart and he'll come back to her and she'll have him again. But she's kind of stupid. She hasn't figured out that she hasn't really figured out that this is romantic. She's sort of still just thinking of him as like a childhood friend she wants to find again. And he started to think of her as a woman. And he's sort of ashamed of himself. He doesn't want to be with her if that means that she won't like him. So he's kind of running away from her as she's chasing him. Meanwhile, Yuzu, who is kind of like a short little, brilliant young musician, he's in love with Nino. And so he's chasing after Nino, writing beautiful music for Nino. And Nino and Yuzu have this really beautiful artistic relationship where it's as if they understand each other at a beautiful, like, I don't know, soul level. They get each other, but she doesn't love him the way he loves her. And she also doesn't want to lose him and lose that friendship with him. So that this is kind of like the artist artwork relationship. She gives him inspiration to write his music. He writes music specifically for her voice. She loves his music, but they can't quite nail the coffin on what is it? They can't put. What is the expression? I lost it. But basically, because she doesn't love him back, it doesn't seem like it's going to happen. Although she does seem to be, she's giving mixed. Basically, Nino's stupid. She doesn't understand how she feels yet, and because she is just trying to get her friends back, she hasn't figured out that she has to make a choice, and she can't have everything. When she makes a choice, she's going to lose something. Her whole life, she's been chasing after something she lost, a childhood friend she lost, and the tragedy is she's eventually going to have to pick one of them, and when she does, she's going to lose the other one of them. In Yuzu has both Momo and Yuzu. I'm Team Yuzu, but both Momo and Yuzu have strong qualities and weak qualities. Yuzu is very hesitant to admit his feelings because he's afraid if he admits he loves Nino, she'll leave him and he'll lose what he has with her now, this like beautiful friendship he has with her. Momo keeps running away from Nino because he's ashamed of himself. He has to like fix some of his family issues before he's ready to see her. So it's always been like the man that she doesn't want, but he's there for her, versus the man that she wants, but he's never there for her. And just as Yuzu finally mans up and admits his feelings, Momo comes back and he says, this time I'm not going to leave you, this time I'm going to stay. And he kisses Nino, and she's like all overcome with emotion. And basically, like, it's no contest. She's been in love with Momo since she was 9. Of course she's going to get together with Momo. And this is kind of like a heartbreak for Yuzu. Now, the rock band sequence is phenomenal because it is connecting their emotional, romantic basket caseness with the music itself, where all of them are playing together. Yuzu's band, the Anonymous Noise, In No Hurry to Shout, is playing with Momo's band, Black Kitty. And as they're doing that, they're kind of having a battle of the bands, and the battle of the bands is also becoming a romantic battle. Momo and Yuzu have a guitar battle where they're kind of like staring at each other in the face, all manly and stuff. They're very competitive with each other. They both want to possess Nino in a way. They're all young and stupid, and it's sort of like they haven't figured out how to have a mature relationship yet. Meanwhile, Nino is at the kind of like this emotional basket case stage where they call it meltdown mode. If she feels like an emotional basket case, it comes across in her music, and she might forget what she's singing or where they are in the set. But what they're implying is it gives her singing this incredibly emotionally raw quality that's memorable. She's gone from being like a novice to being a rock star in about a year. As the boys have their battle, there's also this beautiful thing where Yuzu kind of wakes up Nino and tells her what she needs to hear to get her head back in the game and finish the song and not lose control. And then as Yuzu's losing control, Nino turns it right back around on him and gives him a smile that kind of like shocks him awake. But for her, it's just her being her. She's just always in the music. She loves music. She loves playing with these guys. And so she kind of has like this natural charm or this natural sweetness to her that brings the best out of her bandmates, right? So this beautiful, like, we work together, we make beautiful music together relationship seems like it could become a romantic relationship, but there's always something keeping them apart. And in this case, it's Momo. Hopping ahead a little bit. So one of the strong points about this series as a whole is as the kind of like this love triangle keeps getting played out, Ryoko makes sure to have the secondary characters have a subplot, which can keep you invested as you're kind of like waiting to see what happens. So she fleshes out both the subplots. Let me see if I can find it. There's a subplot where the drummer, Kuro, has been in love with his older brother's wife. and the wife perceives Kuro as like a little, an adorable little boy. She's never seen him as a man, so he's kind of like in ultimate simp mode. He basically finally admits his feelings to her directly, and she directly tells him, "No, I'm sorry, I'm in love with your brother," and that's kind of like the end of it for him. He had to get it off his chest. He's told her how he feels. He's been honest about it. And I was kind of wondering, what direction are they going with this? And over time, what I was kind of pleased to find out is it's really hard to sympathize with a character who's lusting after his brother's wife. So after kind of like admitting how he feels, he's ready to get over that and move on and find something new with his life. So that was good. I was wondering where the heck are they going with that? It's going in a neat direction. Also, let me see if I can find it. Haruyoshi, where is he? Is that in this chapter? I think it is. There's a whole subplot where Haruyoshi, who is the oldest member of the group and the bass player, has always kind of had like a flamboyant personality, very effeminate, but he's not gay. He has just been around women all his life, and that makes him seem kind of like effeminate and non-threatening, but he does have like a manly quality to him where he finally asks out the girl that he's in love with. She's kind of cold to him at first because there's another love triangle where the girl's in love with Yuzu, but Yuzu's not in love with her. Yuzu's in love with Alice. He's in love with Mio, but Mio's in love with Yuzu. It's nuts. But after he mans up and tells her how he feels, they start going out, but she doesn't really feel anything for him quite yet. And in this chapter, she finally stops looking at him as like a non-threatening friend and starts looking at him like he's a man who's actually interesting to her. She's finally starting to see like his manly qualities beyond his sort of like effeminate qualities. So that's pretty interesting. So the Haruyoshi subplot is developing nicely. The Kuro subplot is developing nicely, but Yuzu is basically defeated. He waited too long to express his feelings. Momo came back. Alice went to Momo. And it's kind of interesting that the two of them were friends, and then when they found out they were both in love with the same girl, it became an intense rivalry. Both of them come from broken homes. Both of them express their love for Nino through their music, and Yuzu is completely the underdog in this situation, both because Nino already loves Momo and because Yuzu just has, he's literally got a Napoleon complex. He's shorter, he has a less manly vibe to him, so I'm kind of rooting for him just for that. But Yuzu, recognizing that this isn't working out and I can't keep feeling this way, now Yuzu leaves her. So normally Momo's the one who's always running away from and abandoning Alice, and Yuzu now is going to leave Alice for a while, and so he can sort some things out in his own life. And so this is going to leave Alice in a position again where, well, now she's with Momo, but is that what she really wants? Is she really ready to say goodbye to Yuzu forever? And I guess I'm going to be doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more volumes to figure out how the heck this love triangle is going to end. The rock and roll is fantastic. What this is illustrating is that even without a sword fight, you can make something feel really intense and connect to the reader if you show it. Like Ryoko talks about going to rock concerts and getting footage of photographs of all of the instruments so she can draw it. So A, she gets reference of it. B, she kind of connects with what a rock concert is at an emotional level, what it feels like to go to and experience a rock concert as opposed to just listening to it on a CD. And third, pièce de résistance, she connects the silly teenage romance angle of it to the musical artistic expression of it. I think it's brilliant. It is. I'm trying to teach myself how to write a romance by reading all of these. And the reason I would recommend this is beyond a love triangle. This is adding a sweet teenage angst artistic expression element to the love triangle that I think is absolutely brilliant. So we will see. I am going to find out how this love triangle ends. Dang it. And I want a definitive, solid ending. That's it. I love you guys. Catch you later.